Just anything standing out to you in these scrimmages in terms of things you learned about your team?
No, just trying to, just the discipline of the game and the things that we're emphasizing. Obviously you can answer questions a lot better after you watch the film. But yeah, I thought, we didn't shoot the basketball well. We don't embrace the physicality of the game like we need to. And we got to do a better job with that. We got to clean up some things from a defensive standpoint. We got to clean up taking care of the basketball. We have some costly turnovers out there that we got to do a better job of. Obviously, you have two teams that are playing instead of one team, and you've been practicing against yourself, here for 4 months. So I think it gets a little stale. It doesn't get a little stale; it's stale. But no, I think you see the improvements from the guys that played before, and I think you have a lot of excitement from the young guys. We have some young guys that can make shots. Not all of them made shots today, but they have the ability to make shots, and they bring a lot to it. So I really like our freshman class. They've all had their moments. They've all played well, and just trying to mix things together for us. We have some tough decisions. We haven't had a great deal of separation, in some different spots there. Obviously, Braden's somebody that separates himself with his playmaking ability. Obviously, he's the preseason player of the year in our league. Fletcher's experiences, in the last 2 years is his competitive nature, his shot-making ability, his understanding of the game. The way we handle some things, we don't let Trey Kaufman just post up and play one-on-one basketball. So I think there'll be a lot of people this year that are going to let him play one-on-one basketball. I think that's to our advantage. I don't think everybody will do that, but I think more than we've seen in the past, right? And so I think that'll really open up some things for him that don't open up when he goes against us, so to speak. So, but no, I think you have a first scrimmage to get through it, to have more things on tape so you can try to fix some things and be better at things, be more efficient. Just more than anything, just kind of clean some stuff up.
Those options you were talking about, how does the way that CJ and Jakari are both playing potentially open some things up?
I think the one thing, like a lot of people just, give the statement that what Lance Jones did for us. Lance Jones helped us because he gave us another ball handler. If you pressed us, you zoned us, you did different things. The year before, people looked at it like it was a schematic issue. It wasn't a schematic issue, it was a personnel issue. And Lance Jones fixed that personnel issue because now he has quickness. He can go up and pick up the ball and guard the basketball, which really helps Braden not have as much of a workload. And then it helped Fletcher. It allowed Fletcher to stay really as that third guard and not have somebody with as much quickness on him, and kind of being in a role where you can maneuver and get by people and take his shots when they come. But CJ and Jakari definitely fit that better of helping the cause, in all those areas. But like the other guys there, Cam, who will play some 4 too. We're going to play Cam in the 3 and the 4. How much, I don't know yet. And then Miles in the spot. So we have a lot of guys there. We have a lot of guys, but they give us, CJ and Jakari give us another ball handler. They give us another defender. So it really, that Lance really helped us in that area, and both of those guys give us more of that.
How much flexibility does it give you offensively that Trey can face up, he can post up, he can play on the perimeter? He made that nice pass from the elbow today.
Yeah.
Just, he can do a lot of different things with him. It's not just
correct
station at the rim.
Yeah, his versatility, his ability to pass. He has passed really well. He's been at the top of our assist in competitive drills and competition along with Brady. But just trying to utilize him to the best of our ability. We'll play smaller with him at times, but more than anything, he'll play a lot of the 4 there. But he's done some really good things. But like I said, some of his looks were taken away because of how we play defensively.
He talked about his confidence just a few minutes ago. How have you seen him grow and develop as a player?
Who's this?
Trey.
Trey, yeah.
Talk about that.
Just his maturity. Like, he's very locked into the game. He's a maniacal worker. He puts in a lot of time, working on free throws, working on his threes, working on his post move, playing face up, playing with his back to the basket. So, and he's, obviously, when you look at the greatness of Ross-Ade, it takes away from others. It just does, and that's what sacrifice is all about. And Trey's really sacrificed for us. Caleb first has sacrificed for us. But now it's his time, and that's what you want to work towards. You want to be ready, and he's more than ready.
Can Raleigh's energy help you now?
Yeah, it just depends on the minutes, where we go from that. We got to make a decision, if that's the case. I think a lot of people like to have all of that, and then you got to logically be able to look at it and say, does that make a lot of sense for us? Does that make a lot of sense for him? Both of those questions are important, but you can see he's a good player. His shooting's improved. He's got a good frame. He moves well. He can pass the basketball. He's a very functional player.
Has he looked a little bit livelier since you got him here than he did maybe his senior year, after the injury?
Sure, yeah. I think the time, just kind of off, when you finish your high school season, you get some time off before you get here in the summer. And we've been, aware of that. Not to say that he's been limited by any stretch of the imagination, because he hasn't, but we're still aware of what he's went through, and coming back from that broken leg. It's a long time ago, but yet it's, as we all know, sometimes that's what it takes, just to be, really cautious with things. And, Cam was in that position, even though he didn't have the severity of the injury that he had. He still had a pretty serious injury that held him out the whole senior year, besides a couple games. And now when he gets that redshirt year, now you're coming back and you're 100% healthy. You're always trying to come back, and do you come back too quick at times? So, I think he's in a good place. I really like our front line. I think we have a lot of pieces. So I think that we're going to have some guys on our front line to where we don't always need them, but we're going to need them at times, and that stinks, right? Because you want to be needed every single day. And just like Trey, Kaufman, and Caleb have, really sacrificed for us in the past, we're going to have some guys that are going to have to play roles and sacrifice. But it just depends. You see some good things that Will does. He embraces the physicality of the game. You saw Daniel have a couple really nice blocks. He's got more to him than that. He's got to get himself in those positions. He's got to get some offensive rebounds. He's got to get some runouts. He's just got to get a part of the game. And sometimes that's difficult for a big, with that. We talked about Trey, we talked about Raleigh, and obviously Caleb. So
there was, in the second period especially, you were talking to Miles a lot. I think right after that there was a sequence where a couple of possessions in a row were close to each other. He scored off of rebounds. Just, I guess, what are you trying to get to him as far as making contributions like that, not necessarily?
Yeah, we were talking about some different things, just defensively, and a different play on offense that had happened. But no, just being a part of the game. Today, it's a great example. We had some perimeter guys not shoot well. So if that's what it's going to be like in a real game, and you don't shoot well, if you do those other things, you should stay in the game. If you're a good defender, you're a good rebounder, and you take care of the basketball, you bring energy and you know what you're doing. Now you can have an off shooting night and still have a good game. But if you're just a shooter and those other things you're just kind of novice at, then you're not bringing a whole lot to the table. So I always say who you are when the ball doesn't go in. So that's something for Miles and all those guys. Now be able to rebound, be able to defend, be able to have that collective intelligence to where we all know what we're doing and we're all on the same page and working as one. So, but no, we want him to look for a shot. I thought his first couple shots were pretty tough, and so sometimes when you take some tough ones early, it's a little bit harder to get going, right? And so you want to be able to, even when you miss, you feel good about taking, hey, I was supposed to take this, I missed it. You get your next one and you're open and you miss it again. It's frustrating, but you still know deep down that's what they want. They want me taking these shots. So guys like him, we want him taking, good, clean looks right there. He drifted a couple times on his pull-up, but he does have a good pull-up. And if the more he can get to that pull-up and his catch and shoots while he's in rhythm, that's what we want.
You talk about playing smaller, playing bigger.
Yeah.
Do you think that'll be a result of what your opponent is doing, or is that something where you guys want to dictate that for?
Yeah, that's a really good question. I think both. I think we got to figure that out, and organically we're not there yet. Do we have a group to where like this is our best lineup no matter who we play against? Like you'd like to think that you can get there, but sometimes you can't. Sometimes and that's kind of the statement that I made earlier. There's some guys in our team that we're going to need on Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but we might not need on a Saturday or Sunday. And I think that's hard for a player because you don't get those consistent reps. But then if you need to be bigger to offset somebody's size, or you need to be smaller to manipulate that size, it's two different ways to look at it, then you have the ability to do that. And that's what I feel good about. We have 13 guys on scholarship. We have no transfers on our team. We have guys that are young, that are trying to blend in, but we got sophomores, juniors, and seniors that have been here. And so like that overall understanding of what we want is the most important. So, and I don't think we're shorthanded anymore. I think we have a lot of depth and we got to be able to utilize that depth. But with that, I've always talked about like you're not going to be consistent always when you get inconsistent minutes. And that's what's tough for a competitive guy, to be able to feel good about himself where, hey, they didn't even play me on Tuesday, but yet here I am on Saturday playing 20 minutes. Or maybe it's like less, right? Like you're playing 5 to 10 on Tuesday and then you're getting your 20 there, so you play a little bit. So we just got to be able to figure that out.